So I'm continuing along. I want to do some jelly prints for these photos from an art museum. And the one that I think I'm going to use kind of as a inspiration, there's actually a couple of them. This one was these circles, and it was part of this sofa. And I can't remember what they were made out of. I think they were made out of some kind of fibers, cloth or something, or maybe pieces of rubber or something, I don't remember, that went into these circles to make this sofa. So I love these bright colors, and I have a lot of those types of paint out here for my jelly printing. And I also like the amount of silver. There's a fair amount of silver in the different pictures here as well. So I think I want to use some silver with my designs. But I'm going to take off from all this color and this circular design. So let's set these aside. What I want to do with these is take a couple of pieces of white cardstock and do some circular designs, at least along the bottom, and I may go all the way around. That will be the background for the page. I have the really small jelly print. This is, I think it's 3 inches. Yeah, this is 3-inch circle. This is in the minis. It's one of the ones that comes in the minis. I have the 4-inch, and I have the 6-inch. And I don't know if I'm going to use the 6 or not, but I know I'm going to use the 1 or the 3 and the 4 for sure with these papers and some of the different colors. I have out here everything from just a piece of needlepoint canvas to all my little round stencils. I picked a bunch of them out, ones that were a little more modern, not maybe so traditional looking designs. And then I even have one of these really large ones because you can still get a good part of this design on the circle. So we're going to do several of those along the bottom of my page. And since I'm going to be going directly on my background, I'll have to give some thought to how I want to place these on the paper. I've put some tape to hold the 2 pages together, just some washi tape, so that I'll be able to do my essentially stamping, because when you're using these round jelly prints on the larger paper, it's like stamping. So I can stamp across the pages and not have to worry about things shifting. I'm going to start with the largest one, the 6-inch, and I do think I'm going to use it a little bit to add some silver to the paper. Now, one thing I had never tried before is using the silver paint by itself. And I've always mixed it with other things. And you'll see that that has some mixed results. Actually, some not so great results. But I decided to leave it in here and just show you what happens. It dries so fast it doesn't end up putting a lot of color, just a little bit. So I'm going to add some regular paint. And I've had some suggestions on some of my videos recently about using some different products to make my paint last longer. And I do need to try those. I just didn't have any of it when I was doing this. But I'm getting a little bit better result there. Now when we move off the silver and we get into some color, you'll start to see a lot better stamping. And I'm sort of going for a 3 areas of the page kind of thing, where I'm doing something at the top, something on each side, and then we'll kind of meet in the middle when we get done. Now, one that I know that does really well is this weathered wood distress paint. It's kind of thin, so we'll use it and we'll add a little silver to it and it will stay wet and do a better job of stamping for us. There we go, getting a much nicer design. Now a lot of these are going to get covered up with additional layers. As we start to add some more color. Okay, I'm working with some of the smaller jelly prints, or jelly plates rather. I think this is the 4-inch one. 3 or 4, I'm not sure. I'm keeping the same color and just switching out some of the different stencils. We can go with a cyan color and a little bit of a darker blue pearl paint. And then that's a Crafter's Workshop stencil. And that was a little heavy, a bit heavier than I wanted. Alright, looks like I need some red and some yellow to kind of get more colors from the photos in here. This is golden, and this is one of their open acrylics, so these stay wet naturally. I don't have as many of these because I don't have anywhere locally to buy them. I can order them, or there's a great art supply store about an hour from me, but it's up in the mountains, so we don't travel up there except in warmer weather. And I haven't been up there yet this year. The little needlepoint canvas makes some really fun textures. And that was something I had in my stash from probably the 80s. Years and years and years ago I found it. And it's something I repurposed for my current crafts. A lot of old stuff will make texture for your jelly plates. Now we need a little bit more true blue. This is a stencil I cut from a design off the silhouette. I do cut some of my own stencils as well as ones I purchase. And then the last color that I kind of need to finish this up is some green. And now that I'm looking at it, I think this might have been where I got a little bit too much color. I might should have left this green off. I'm kind of liking it before I put the green on, but you never know. It's hard to, it's easy to see when you're on these videos and you can look at the whole thing so easily. When you're right down at it, it's harder to tell. I've very often had instances where I saw something on the video and I thought, why did I do that? But it's just harder to see it. Yeah, this is where I started to get, I think, a few too many colors. One of the things I've noticed is that I need something to sort of tie everything together, and all of these prints have not just silver in them, but they have black in them. And black is a wonderful neutral to kind of tie things together. So I'm going to take a stencil and with a some black paint and a stiff bristle brush, and I'm just going to apply a few rows of black paint, some little strips here that will kind of give us a break from all those circles, so we'll have a little contrast, as well as adding a little more of a foundational color in. And it does a lot to bring the page together. So here we are with all the black added to it. Let's see how it looks with the photos. A lot better, I think. They're going to connect a lot more now with the background since it has some black in it. I still may matte them or do some, kind of put them all together in a collage and matte them. I haven't decided for sure. And I may add some more touches of silver to this, like maybe a little bit of silver on the black when I actually get down to doing the layout. But I have a really interesting background to go with these photos. Another thing I have is some silver paper. So I can't buy that particular silver paper anymore. It's from Stampin' Up, but I might use some of it to matte some of these photos and make some things really stand out. So I have kind of an interesting background to work with my museum photos.